It's a test, live test. Live test. So how's that? What? Alright. Cleaning the shop. My gloves so I don't get some kind of freaking disease. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm getting there. I got this whole section cleared off of crap. Got a whole nother section of crap to do. I gotta place most of this poplar and oak. I got 2 tables from a friend who got these from an Italian restaurant in Chicago, and they're 2-inch thick walnut tables. So I got to pull those out. We're going to be taking these up to Wisconsin to have them cut, ripped, and we're going to get all the finish off of it. And then I got all this. So I got to figure out what to do with all of this because I don't have enough room. Sounds good? Yeah. Problem is, most of this wood is they're not sized correctly. So, I mean, you saw I got shapes. Everything from you know, 5.5 inches, 5 inches. You know, I get all of this from a cabinet supplier that's by my job, and every week they throw out all this stuff into a bin. They do it twice a week, so you can go there. I mean, you can see on the bottom here, full slabs of oak, just oak, 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 just free. They just leave it. They say, hey, they don't have any use for it. So I go there with my car. I open up the trunk. I load in all this stuff because it's free, and I bring it home. I mean, it could be anything. It could be, and I know it sounds dumb. Like, why would you pick this stuff up? But believe it or not, 1, again, like I said, it's free. 2, I can make something out of it. Put it at the bottom of a box. But the key word being free. I don't have to pay for it. Even if it goes in the garbage or it goes in the fire pit, it's free. So I just have to figure out what to do with all of it. All this 90% of my wood in here, even those old Home Depot boards, that was $1 a board because they screwed up and put brand new frickin' pine boards in the throw-out pile and the 70% off pile. And I grabbed 8 of them because I'm like, these guys are idiots. So same thing with the 1x8, or it's a 1x12. It was on there. I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it. It's not split. It's not bowed. I took it up to the counter and she just scanned it and she's like, all right, here you go. I'm like, God, I love Home Depot. Home Depot's wood is primarily trash, depending on what you're getting. But when you go there, you have to remember, Home Depot is not the same as it used to be. There's a bunch of 17-year-olds that have no idea what they're doing, and they don't care. So I literally will go there and I'll get sheets of plywood, and I'm like, hey, listen, I need a piece of plywood. I have to finish a project. You know, I don't want to spend $70 on this birch, but I need good wood. I don't want to pay the $23. Is there any way we can work out a deal? And they'll give me an $80 piece of plywood for the same price as a 1/4-inch sheet of plywood. Like that. They don't even ask twice. I'm like, sweet. Nobody does that. I always do it at Home Depot. I'm fanatical for doing that there. And then you can see I got, you know, projects that I'm working on. I cleaned up these guys. These Stanleys that I got on Marketplace. Most of the shit I got on Marketplace. I got this brand new Ryobi in the box for, I think, $70. It was still in the box. I got this bandsaw from the Civil War for $30. I got this rigid 4512. You guys saw the video. I got this for free. The guy down the street was like, I don't need it anymore. Okay. I got the joiner for $30 on Marketplace. The only thing I actually spent money on, like real money on, is my finishes and my 12-inch sliding miter saw, which I got Dozer's sticker on there. But that's the only thing I spent money on. And you probably recognize the fold out miter saw. Yeah, it's not bolted in. I don't want to hear anything about it. But it's the design was, I believe, it was either DIY Montreal or Who's the Boss. And when I made it, I think I went too thick with the wood because if you can tell, if I put a piece of wood on here, sorry, I got it. If I put a piece of wood on it, it bows. It doesn't line up. Get rid of this. What's going on, Beard? Fearless, Sayer, gentlemen. So if you look, I put a piece of wood on here. See? It won't line up. That happened like within the first month. It's either like I can lift it up. These hinges I got off of obviously Amazon, or actually I think it was one of the links from his build. They're trash, or it's too heavy, and maybe that's why it did that. I used 1/2-inch plywood on there. Maybe I should have did like just 1/8 inch or 1/4-inch plywood on it. I mean, the table's solid. I mean, I just did a burn on it and I painted it black. Nothing, you know, I got my rigids connected to it because I don't have like a huge air filtration thing yet. Although that guy did give me this. So he gave me the dust collector, 13-gallon, with the outfeed table, or roller, with the saw and the hose. I just have to, again, I'm trying to get rid of all this wood that I got on Marketplace. I thought I'd do something with it. I probably will eventually, but it's like this is probably everyone's shop. Oh, I can use that for something. Yeah, no, you're not. You're not going to use it for anything. Just, let's be honest. It's been sitting here for 2 fucking years. I haven't even touched it. There's probably brown recluses in it and a bunch of stuff that's going to kill me. But, you know, I'm like, oh, I'll make some of those dumb candle holders that everybody else is making. Or I'll make signs with this that Eric Roten does on YouTube. You know, I just got to get the router with the little thing, and I could pump out some signs. But it was all free on Marketplace. Some lady, her husband passed away, and she's like, free wood. I stopped by there. She had a 10x10 shed that was just full of wood. So I backed up my car and I didn't even really look at it. I just loaded it in because it was free. And what are you guys saying here? Just saying hi, gotta go in, get some food. I gotta get some food too, I'm starving. Smash the like button. Yeah, if you guys want, smash the like button. Subscribe if you want. We're gonna be doing a lot of projects live. But in order to do that live, I have to be able to organize the crap from the scrap and the stuff that I'm going to use. You know, it's literally, it should be from scrap to crap. Some would say, Keith would say I have a hoarding problem, but I really know that I can get a lot of this stuff, you know, into projects. You know, some of my videos that are still coming out, yeah, there's brown recluse. Get out of here. I'll use a lot of this to make it. So why would I go to Home Depot? Oh, my license plate. Why would I go to Home Depot and buy all this shit and make the same projects when I got it all for free? So every time I make something, anytime I make a project out of it, even if it's my pumpkin build that you guys will see the video for, the planter, I made this planter here, obviously way different. Sorry, I didn't make a video on it. I probably will, but season's kind of already over, but as you can tell, it's different from planters you always see. I just used 45-inch degree cuts, you know, and then I got a sheet inside there I got to put up on the door back here, but you know, it's hollow. There's nothing on the bottom so that the water will drain. It's got the handles here so you can lift it, and then you just put your pieces of wood for whatever size planter you want inside of it. And I stained it, and then obviously you guys have seen these. I made a sign, you know, it's for the front porch. I haven't finished it because that's another project that I'm making. It's another project. This is a grill that I made out of wood, and it's a upcoming video, so stay tuned. I'll show you how to make it because it's a bucket stave project, but you can use that for when you're at a barbecue for paper towels. So it's a paper towel grill, unique. Nobody's made it. The design came from Ken's brain, loosely used term. So yeah, again, I'm trying to decide what type of wood I want to put there. If I want to start with my thicker wood, is my depth good enough to where I'm not going to get bows at the end of it? Is it going to last sitting there? Am I going to use it fast enough to where I actually get rid of it? And it, you know, but this company, they throw out wood once a week or twice a week, like I said. So I'll just go there, and here, let me show you. I got some. Let's say Thursday, Tuesday. I went there Tuesday. The Merc. So mine the car. But this was Tuesday. This was Tuesday's grab. Now, mind you, the F4s, because I use them for the base of projects of mine, so they're garbage. But again, nobody sees them at the base. But I got all this polished poplar, maple, like oak. I mean, all free. So I'm getting all this stuff for free, you know, straight as an arrow. There's no cupping on it. It's a huge piece of wood, free. Every week I go there and they get rid of the scraps because their customers already paid for it. They're not going to use it for any of the cabinet projects they have because they can't. It's oversized or it's end grain wood, and they get rid of it. So I don't know. My advice is if you have a cabinet making companies, trim making companies by your house, always go there. Lumber places, they always got scraps, and usually it's paid for wood. So you can just say, hey, I see the pile of wood outside. You guys mind if I kind of go through it? You want any money or anything? And a lot of times sometimes they might charge you a little bit, but think about it. All of this maple, poplar, oak, I probably have $2,000 worth of oak that I got for free, simply by just saying, hey, you guys getting rid of this. And now what I can make a ton of projects with it, and I'll sell it for a ton of money. So go talk to suppliers by your house, and yeah, see Jack in the shop. Exactly. You'll pay $150 for 2 boards, you know, 8-inch by 8-inch block, and then you're going to have to price your project so high. And let's face it, now everyone's broke. Nobody has money. Gas is $900 a fucking gallon. Groceries are expensive. Nobody can afford it. So a project, you gotta, after you're done making it, after you consider labor and your time and materials, you're like, all right, well, it cost me $50 to make it. I have to kind of sell it for $100 if I'm going to make any money off of it. But then you take it to a craft show for $100 and people just walk past it because they're all broke. So you have to, if you're going to be into like doing what I'm doing for this season, is crafting, because I hit the fall crafts and the Christmas craft booths pretty heavy. I do not, and note this, I do not, sorry, it's something, man, go to craft shows that charge you a booth fee. Some of them I will. depending on the booth fee. But I also you have to ask them. You talk to the coordinator, and you got to ask two things: what is the foot traffic? What's the expected foot traffic? And are you taking a percent of my overall sales? Because some of them will. They'll take 15-20% of your sales. They'll require you to use one of their POS systems so they can log every sale and transaction that you make. And then at the end of the day, you have to inventory your stuff. So you have to give them an inventory list when you get there. And then at the end of the day, you have to show them what you have left. Then they match that up with their POS system like they're going to fucking do anything about it. You know, like, yeah, I sold extra for cash. What are you going to call the wood authorities? Get out of here. You're going to get slapped. So don't do those craft shows. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of money. And, I mean, you're starting off in negative margins. I just paid $200 for my booth. You're taking 15%. So even if I make $500, you're taking, $75 from me or whatever. So I'm already in negative margins. Now I have to sell my products. And then you walk around and you're like, oh shit, there's only 19 other booths selling the same damn thing. So local craft shows are great. Also, talk to your local municipalities. Local municipalities will allow you to set up easy up tents with a vending permit. By me, it's in Illinois, it's $15. Then I go to like the dollar store that has a huge parking lot, or the Jewel Osco, which is a grocery store in Illinois, and I'll ask the managers, the GMs, if I'm allowed to set up in the corner, and I'll be out of the way of the customers. This is who I am, this is what I do. I have a permit. Would you mind if I just set up in the corner and not bother anybody? I do woodworking. This is who I am. Most of the time they'll say yeah. And now you're not competing with anybody because you're set up right there on the corner of a busy intersection or something like that. And you just put big signs up, crafts, wooden crafts, handmade crafts. You'll sell more doing that than you will at a craft show because you're going to get people to stop there. And then you can price your items for whatever you really want to. You don't have to go off of the other booths. That's the other problem with craft shows. You got to walk around and be like, all right, everyone's pretty much selling their projects for between $35 and $85. Well, I have cutting boards with Paduke, Purple Heart, Maple. I'm trying to sell them for $200. Yeah, well, you're at the wrong craft show for that. No one's gonna buy them. You're gonna come home with those. If I don't make charcuterie boards or cutting boards, that's not my thing. I might do a video on it, but I doubt it. I live in Chicago. It's one of the food capitals of the United States. You're not selling any cutting boards here. You would have to go to restaurants and try to market it to the restaurant itself, or go into the bougie neighborhoods and try to sell to those kind of people. They might buy for aesthetic reasons or for visual reasons, but purple. What did Hey, Razor. Yeah, peddler's permit. Yeah, Bice knows. Bice does a lot of craft shows too as well, everybody. So he's another good person. He actually posts. Check out Bice's channel also. He posts a lot of videos on what to expect, what not to do at craft shows, which is very helpful because a lot of people don't tell you the truth. You'll see the Facebook shorts, and you'll see the reels on Instagram of, oh, I made $3,000 in 2 days. No, you didn't. I mean, you did if you're not paying taxes. You don't pay yourself hourly. You don't consider the travel expenses, your food, the booth fee, and then taxes. And then do you have a vending insurance? Do you have insurance on your stuff? So God forbid somebody slams into your car on the way to the craft show. Now you just destroyed all your crafts. Or somebody steals your car, or there's a fire. If you get insurance on the stuff, which is actually affordable, it'll cover your projects. Maybe there's bad weather. A tornado comes in while you're at a craft show, and it's gone. You're out of there, but it's gone. None of your stuff's covered. You got to have insurance. Well, that's part of the expenses. So after you factor in everything like that, their $3,000 they're saying they made on Facebook is like $800, $900 at the end of the day. But us as woodworkers, I guess maybe a lot of us don't factor in the labor because we love doing it. So we just say, hey, this is a project I made. I'm selling them for $50, $60, and then people will be like, that's not including this. Well, you're right, it's not. But, I love doing it. It's a hobby of mine, or it's a side hustle of mine, or it's, full-time of mine. And You know, people love my project, so I like selling it. And you're right, I don't factor in my labor, but you know, when you're selling 15 of them, 10 of them, yeah. See, Bice has a policy: $2 million of his inventory and tools. So, God forbid something happens to his shop. God forbid something happens to his tools or his car or at the show, weather, you know, bad weather. He has some kind of coverage that he can claim that and at least recoup a portion of his losses, so that he's not at a complete loss. Because a lot of people don't have what I have out here by me. Um, like I said, I got these 2 inch. I can't even get to them, but it's 2 inch walnut from an Italian restaurant that was in Chicago. It closed down. I got them for free from a buddy who grabbed them. He was going to make tables out of them. He never did. They sat in his garage for 2 years, and he called me up. He's like, "Hey, I know you're doing the woodworking. You want these tables?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." He gave them to me for free, so I went and picked them up, and now they just have to be stripped. But I mean, think of the possibilities I could do with that much walnut. I mean, talk about, I could cut them, I could turn them, use end grain. You know, again, maybe make some end grain cutting boards. Maybe just finish it out, make another table, resell it. But it was all free. I filled up my cart with all this stuff, all of it. Sorry, that's the church by my house. And then the priest actually lives across the street. Father John and Father Matthew, they live right there across the street. My kids attend the Catholic school there, and uh, great community that I live in. It's a very religious community. I mean, there's a church every 100 feet. Literally, there's a church. I can turn this way, and I can see the steeple of the other church, and I can turn this way. It's a very I'm in like the northern Bible Belt of Illinois, so but people out here are super supportive, especially with the woodworking community. Uh, they will pay for handmade items. And hey, Dozer. Um, and also, again, this is my first live. I know I should be probably building something, and I will on the next live. I was just kind of testing out how it works. Sorry, it's 98 degrees. Um, and I don't have air conditioning in my shop, in my garage. So this, I mean, you guys can see this is my shop. Once it's cleaned, it'll be better. But I have so many projects sitting there. You know, I got my tool shed. This whole wall is going to be redone. When we bought the house, this is how the house was when we bought it. So I haven't had time to get in here and dissect it all, but I'm gonna be putting full shelves there for more lumber. I'm gonna be doing a miter station so I don't have to have the mobile. And then on the mobile stand that I got, I'm gonna put my planer on that and just use it because what I did, if you look, I used 4-inch casters when I made this. So I did my measurements, not accounting for the extra height from the from the wheels. So look at how high my miter saw is. Like if I'm standing here, look at this. I'm 5'9", almost 5'10". This is the top of my saw. Like I'm cutting here, like right at my chest mark. It should be at least 3 or 4 inches. So again, if you're gonna make one of those type of sliding stands, account for the caster wheels, and don't be a newbie like me. But yeah, I know. Hopefully, you guys do like the projects I have coming out. I have a lot of Christmas stuff coming out. As you can tell, I got templates laying around everywhere. Most of my projects I leave in the house. I should actually go get one of them to show you guys because one of the customers backed out on me last minute, and this is my house, the White House. Take you for a little ride in my mi casa, su casa, gentlemen. This is my theater room. I got my huge TV and then all my Star Wars stuff, and but this. So it's a project I made. It's a planter I made. I haven't posted a video on it yet. It's hard for me to kind of. It's dark in here. But see how it turned out. So I use, and believe it or not, It's a pump planter that I make. And I use a certain technique. This, believe it or not, I mean, most people doing woodworking would know. But this is cedar. But I have a sanding technique and a burning technique I use. Not sure Shikabana. It's similar to where I get this pop from, and these multicolors from my stains. That's another video where I'm going to show you guys how to be able to do that without doing a full-on burn and using the nylon brushel to, and then going back over it. This is not there. It's just a sanding technique I use, and then I go back and I'll show you. And then a bucket. So this bucket goes on it, and then you kind of, this wraps around the spout, and and then I don't know if I can show it. Sorry, my basement's loaded with projects, but so this is a planter I make because everybody makes the square planters, especially in my area. So I wanted to compete, and I sell these on Marketplace for $80, at the craft shows $125, and they sell. I do them in oak. I'll do them in oak. I'll do them in a Kita dye blue. That's a new project that I've been doing. So starving. So I'm constantly busy doing projects. Constantly busy trying to make videos to put on YouTube. It is a job. When you want to be on YouTube, you have to try to stay busy. You got to try to stay focused. You got to keep the projects flowing. And since I have so much wood, I actually have a million ideas on different projects to do. So if you just stay tuned, or just tuned in, again, my name's Ken from KnotSoOrdinary Woodworks. I do woodworking-ish, and, planter project. Again, tell me if you've seen these. If anybody's in chat, tell me if you've seen this type of planter. Here, let me get out of the sun here. Tell me if you've seen this type of planter made. And in the middle it's got a sheet in it, but it's hollow. This way it's got different tiers for different size planters you want to put in there, or plants. You can do fake plants if you want. But this is something I made too. All 2x4s that I stained with a red mahogany stain from Minwax, and then I just used black on the top, and brad nails and glue. So I glued each section, and then I slowly just cut wider and wider and wider. I'll show you in the video. You actually start from the top down, and then a Christmas project that I'm working on. You guys will see that. There's a million things I try to do to keep you guys entertained, but I also want to bring the craft stuff that I do to the masses, because you go on YouTube, you watch channels, and I like the smalls. They sell really well at craft shows, but they're always the same. You don't ever see anybody making anything different, and I encourage people to think outside the box. That's kind of my saying: think outside the box, and make something different. It's something that people don't see at a craft show. Everybody's got those wooden jack-o'-lanterns, the square ones out of the cedar fence pickets because it's cheap. But when you try to sell them and 10 other booths have the same thing, and it might be somebody who's on a fixed income, so he's not looking for a $25, $30 for one of those. He's selling them for $10. It's like, you used like $6 in materials. You just made $4. I mean, so it's hard to compete with that. So you got to do something different. My next video is going to show you guys how to make this pumpkin family patch. And then I have another video coming out where it's going to show you how to make a wooden wreath. So what I do is I go on Facebook, I go on Marketplace, I research projects. I'll go on Etsy. Etsy's dead. Unless you had an established Etsy shop pre-pandemic, I wouldn't waste your time. All these people that have these ads, I make $50,000 a month on Etsy. No, you're not. First of all, the revenue report that's public shows that you've made $37,000 from 2017, so you're lying. Secondly, Etsy has become a bot farm for products. What people do is Keith explained it to me too. I'll sell you my project. What you'll do, you'll receive the project. You take a picture of it. You do a 5-star review. You send me back my product, or I'm sorry, no. I give you, you pay for it. I send you the product. You give me a 5-star review. I give you your money back for that review, and you get to keep my product. So I'll send them a planter. They paid $35 for a planter. I send it to them. They give me a 5-star review. Um, I refund their money, and they get to keep the planter for the 5-star review. And that's why you see shops with 700, 800, sales in the 5-star reviews. I mean, think about statistically, there's got to be one person that's like, you know what? I loved it, but it was kind of cracked in shipping. But how do you have 800 sales on that one item in a 5-star review? I mean, think about it. That's perfect. It's statistically not possible to have a perfect 5.0 rating on Etsy. So it's all bots. It's all paid for. Marketplace is good, but then you have to remember Marketplace is a garage sale. So you can't list your items for super expensive. People are going on there to find deals. And again, that's why I sell my planters for $80. It cost me maybe 35 in materials to make my planter I showed you. And it leaves me in enough profit margin to where I'm happy with it. They're getting a quality product from Not So Ordinary. And, I've had returning customers from that all the time. I say, hey, if there's ever a problem with it, the handle breaks off, just call me, bring it, I can give you my address, bring it over, I'll fix it for you. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, it's not a problem. Not a big deal. If I can't fix it, maybe I'll just replace that part. It's another reason why I made those planters the way I did, so that you can replace parts that crack or parts that might break. Hey, hi back, how you doing? Yes, there's some Jack makes money on Etsy. Some people do. I have a friend who makes over 6 figures on Etsy. He kills it on Etsy, and he does. It's like PVC art, if you will. It's weird, but he does carvings. He carves PVC and how he glues it together, and then he melts it with like a torch, or like what Bice uses on his wood. I don't know what it's called. But and he makes like these crazy art pieces, and I don't know how he does it, but he makes a ton of money doing it. So there is money there, but I don't waste my time. I had an Etsy shop for 3 months, 4 months. I had my products on there for affordable prices with free shipping. Obviously, I didn't get one sale, not one, and I was constantly. I even paid for the upgrades, and it didn't work. I researched, is my product, am I on the bottom because it's an oversaturated market? No, some of my projects were not, they just didn't sell. I don't know what happened. I don't have a marketing team. I can't afford that. So I kind of do it myself. And if I show you here, let me go inside here really quick and show you guys. So I had this. I had that. This is made out of maple, all maple planks. I had that on Etsy for $25 only. I didn't sell a single one of them. I had these. I have to get to it. Sorry. So let me show you guys this. My office is a nightmare right now because I do a lot of side stuff. So I'd made this. So this, sorry, that's my cushions. This is also made from maple. It's a regulation size, as you can tell by sitting next to me, how big it is. It looks small. This is a regulation size MLB home plate that I made with maple, and all of it, the whole thing is maple except for the back section that kind of holds the things together after I did my glue up, and I just did a light burn on them, but this is all done with maple. I didn't sell one of these on Etsy. I didn't sell one of these on Marketplace, and I had them for sale for $75 because it's maple. I even lowered the price to $55, and I still didn't get any bites. So I mean, you could tell it shines, you know. And how many people, I mean, there were people that were making the home plates out of like, some of them were using furring strips, or they'll just rip 2x4s down to make it. This is all maple, so it's all solid maple. Even the end is all maple. And I had them on Etsy, didn't sell a single one of them. Not a single one. I don't know why. I don't know what happened. I kept, I would go on there and be like, hey, well, how come none of my projects are selling? And the one lady who barely, I don't want to get into it. I don't want to do the accent. But she basically said, well, you got to pay, if you pay for this. So I did it. Still didn't get any sales. And I made these. So these are, you put a what am I trying to say? A solar light. You put a solar light in this and some hooks, and you put a plant in the bottom here, and you hang it. And now you got a solar light that shines down on the plant. Another like design thing that I have. And again, I didn't sell one of those either. I can go down the list of shit that wouldn't sell on Etsy. And maybe because, again, the wood market or the homemade market is... Thanks, Benner. I appreciate it. You gotta have a certain niche, I think, on market or on Etsy or on Shopify. Like woodworking and handmade is just, I think it's just it's oversaturated, and I think just people aren't buying products anymore. One, because it's oversaturated. Two, because it's just like there's so many people selling it. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm Ken from KnotSoOrdinary Woodworks. Normally, again, this is my first live. I just kind of testing out the water, so I do appreciate Bice for coming in. Hi back. Benners came in. Keith came in. Jack's here. I appreciate you guys coming in. Let's see what else we got in chat. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to do my best to read it. Razor was here. Sayer. Matt. Fearless Fox was in here. Sarah. Burn and Render. That's awesome. So I appreciate you guys coming in. And next time I'll be doing a build. I just, again, Benner knows. I watched Benner's first live. It's, you either got to make something or you just kind of talk about your shop and what you're doing. And that's what I'm kind of doing, just to kind of get a feel for, what it is I have to do. Then I have to, I got to get the dinner going for the kiddos. I'm making smoke butt with fresh green beans and mashed potatoes for the kids and for the wife. Well, I have Thursdays off usually, so I'll do my woodworking during the day. I'll film my videos during the day on my day off, and then right around like 5:30, I go inside. I get dinner going just to help out. Me and my wife have an amazing relationship where she doesn't do everything. I'm the cook in the family. We share everything 50-50. She's a very opinionated woman, and she needs a break. We got 3 kids. I help out with the kids a lot, but I also have a photography business. I'm a professional photographer. I'm a professional editor. I also do the woodworking, and I also help out a friend at a parts store. I mean, I'm out there grinding it. You know what I mean? And I'm just trying to make it so that my kids have the best. I grew up with a blue-collar family, military family. I myself was in the military, 18-year Marine, retired, and I joined in 2001. Actually, I was at basic when 9/11 happened, so that gives you a little idea. I'm 46 on Tuesday. So I did my time overseas, retired, and moved on to other things, but I grew up very humble, very, very religious family, very Irish and Polish Catholic family, and I love doing woodworking. I always wanted to do it, and I would just help friends out on the side do it, and they're like, dude, you're really good at it. You should keep doing it. And then I started doing it, like not full time, but as a side hustle versus a hobby. Then I started making money doing it. Then, um, then I started a YouTube page because I have a lot of encouragement from a lot of friends, on there, Keith, Bice, Zach, Sarah, Dozer, a woodworking community, Eric, Valhalla. They encouraged me to start a YouTube page. They said, you got something there, you got something to offer people. Maybe it's a little different, which is why I named it Not So Ordinary Woodworks, because I like to do something that's not so ordinary. I'm going to show how to make a piano desk, not desk, but just, I don't know, a shelf. So it's a piano key angled shelf that I came up with in my head. They have them. I'm not the original designer of it, so don't go crazy. But I'm going to show how to do that, how to do the keys. Actually, the keys are simple. It's a Home Depot panel that you would normally put on a wall. Watch the video, you'll get the idea. But so a lot of just unique things that pop into my head that I want to build that nobody's building, so that hopefully you guys that do crafts can bring this stuff to the crafting community and make money. Because at the end of the day, you want to make money when you're at a craft show. I mean, you can bring your charcuterie boards, you can bring your cutting boards, you can bring your laser engraved CNC projects, all you want to craft shows. That's fine. But everybody else is doing that too. So what makes you stand out? Nothing. So you have to hope that somebody walks in that actually wants exactly what they're looking at. And good luck. So I try to build things and show people how to build things for craft shows, so that they can make profit, stand out a little bit more than other people, and boost their woodworking skills along the way. Because a lot of the projects I do involve really simplistic tools. In my videos, I explained that most of them you could do with hand tools if you don't have a lot of power tools. Not everybody has a table saw. Not everybody has a bandsaw. I have a Ryobi scroll saw that I got on Marketplace, $8. I have what I think was made out of World War II aircraft parts bandsaw from like 1978 Craftsman 12-inch bandsaw, but it works. I don't need a $3,000 bandsaw for what I'm doing. The only thing I got, like I said before, is I have my 12-inch sliding miter saw and my rigid. That's the only thing that I paid full price. Well, technically, I got this for $380 because Home Depot had a 50% off sale. And then an additional 25% off if you signed up for a credit card. Like an idiot, I did it. So, but either way, I got it for 75% off. I got Dozer Woodcrafts. He's my first sticker. I haven't made any stickers yet. I will be sending them out to everybody as soon as I possibly can. And I'll try to do some more stuff live, because I know it's boring to just sit there and watch me ramble. But I'm gonna be doing giveaways. So I'm gonna do them differently, guys, because like I said, I'm retired military. I came from a very religious family. I care about my friends. I care about my family more than anything. And as a Marine, it's my job to take care of my family and make sure that I have food on the table, a roof over their head, and that they're brought up properly. And they go to private Catholic schools. And I try to do what's best for my family. And if I can hand out or help anybody else out, I will. I'll give you my last $10 in my pocket if I know it's going to help you out at the end of the day. That's how I am. So my giveaways, when I start to do them, for my milestones for YouTube, and for if you subscribe to my channel, that'd be awesome. I'm gonna be giving away free stuff. It's stuff that I acquired through my sponsors, through my photography company. It's stuff that I acquired from family members and friends that just said, "Hey, I don't need it." I'm going to be giving away, but it's all going to be free. I don't. It would be nice if you guys did donate eventually when I'm a little bit more on YouTube, because it probably will help. But I don't need the money from anyone. I just want you to come enjoy my company, watch my channel. We could build a community together. Bearded Viking is another big inspiration of mine. I watch a lot of his videos, hundreds of them. His community's great. That's how I met a lot of the people I met, was through Bearded Viking, Crybaby Voss. Then there's Matt from 731 Woodworks, who, he's a tool guy now. It's whatever, but good on him. He took a different route. He put the tools down and picked up the reviews. But hey, he's doing what he's got to do. There's Matthew Peach. All these guys. There's Finding Me. There's Wes Does It. There's Ramon. There's Bice with Bice Family Tree. All these guys are inspirational to me. They're the reason I'm still doing what I'm doing. I thank God every day that I get a new day, and hopefully I can build something to bring to people's communities and to their families that they can enjoy and possibly also make money with. And so my giveaways are going to be free. You don't got to donate. You come into the chat, you say hi, you go on the wheel, I'll mail it, I'll ship it, and hopefully you can enjoy it. I mean, one of them's a Avid interface system for podcasting. Another one's a DJI mic mini set. I'm going to be doing hammer giveaways. I'm going to be doing, whatever I got extra or whatever I have to just to be like, I appreciate it, because it means a lot when people watch what I do, because I'm not a professional. I'm not up at this level. I'm just a guy behind the guy trying to make some money and trying to teach people how to make money with my design ideas, or even other people's designs that I kind of twisted. So same thing. If you guys want to take my designs that I show you in my videos or what I'm going to be doing live, flip it, make it your own. I encourage it. And as long as it gets you using the saw, as long as it gets you out in your shop, it's a great stress reliever. A lot of people scroll through, they're scrolling through the reels. I mean, you got one guy playing with his teeth. I don't even know what that is. He's got like 1,700 people watch him play with a denture. You got another girl licking the microphone for 4 hours. ASMR stuff. No. You got, there's so many just weird stuff going on. Hopefully I can take you away from that for 10 minutes. Watch me make something. It might be boring, but at least it's kind of relaxing. Woodworking is its own ASMR. The smell of the wood, the feel of it, when you're using a piece of nice solid wood and you're making something, there's no other feeling like it on, I mean, if tradesmen, then I mean, you're working with your hands all day long. When I was in college, before I joined the Marine Corps, I was a union carpentry floor guy. That's what I did to pay for college. And I was humping all day long doing VCT, sheet goods, vinyl flooring, hardwood flooring, and you're grinding. I mean, that's what kind of got me ready for the Marine Corps. I was up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I had to be in Chicago on a job site at 5:30 a.m. I'm grinding till 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I would come home and shower, eat, watch a little tube, and then go back to sleep. And like I said, I grew up, most of my friends are blue-collar workers or law enforcement or former military. And now I have a whole nother community of woodworking friends and family. I call them family. I like to consider them as family because they've taught me so much. And I'll be honest with you guys, I wasn't in the best place when I retired from the Marine Corps. I had a lot of situations in the Marines. I did 7 tours in Iraq. I did 4 in Afghanistan. And a lot of stuff happened that changed who I was, not only religiously, but just as a human being. And a lot of I retired. I'm 15 years sober now, but I was drinking something fierce. I'd be on leave. I would crawl into a bottle of booze. I hated who I was for what I was doing. And part of it went away. I lost it. I started not caring. I would do my job, make sure that I kept my men alive. And for my country, I was never appreciated. although I was given medals by the President of the United States, I was not there for that. I was there to keep the people next to me alive, do my job, protect my country, protect the people in it. And I was rewarded by that with psychological damage and a means to an end of what I had for in terms of feeling for people or other people. I would never talk to anybody. If you weren't in the military and didn't serve overseas or wasn't in a combat situation, I mean, I didn't talk to you because you just didn't understand and what it took to get the job done every day, watching your friends die next to you. And I crawled into a dark spot, and then I started doing woodworking, and I was embraced by the community with open arms. They got me talking again. I was super quiet at first, and then I just started talking. I started talking. I started telling them a little bit about who I was, what I did in the Marine Corps, and next thing you know, I'm like, my wife started noticing behavioral changes. My job, they started noticing behavior like, dude, you're actually like in a good mood. Like what's going on? And I'm like, listen, man, I got a lot of people in this community that have opened my eyes and my heart up. Like I'm closer to God, I'm closer to my family, I'm closer to my friends, and they're kind of responsible for that. Dozer's a big part of it. He sent me a gift that, I mean, it made me almost tear up. And I'll be doing a video on that because it was the first thing that I ever received outside of, just regular birthday presents and whatnot. But I've never really received anything from the Marine Corps other than a medal, and I'm glad you're here, soldier. Yeah, well, tell that to the other people. So, and he gifted me this gift that you guys will see. I'm going to do a reveal, or you guys call it a mail call, and you guys will see the craftsmanship that he put into it, the time and effort he put into it, and it means the world to me. It was the first thing I received as a civilian, and it's second to none with how he made it. And again, like I didn't receive maybe some of my closest best friends, when I would come home, I would get the questions like everybody else. I would get, what'd you do, blah blah blah. Did you take any lives, stuff like that. But none of them really took the time to realize, like, dude, I've known you since we were in Catholic school, like since kindergarten. And that's the first question. You haven't seen me in a year and a half, 2 years. I've been in combat. And the first question out of your mouth is, did I kill somebody? Like, are you my friend? Or, I don't think a single person in the woodworking community that knows that I'm a retired Marine, or that I am a Marine, I'm sorry, that I don't think that a single one of them asked me a question in that manner. And so they're more my family and friends than my friends that I've known since first grade. And they've taught me a lot of skills. I'll be building a mallet out of Bice Family Tree video he put out. Check it out. It's awesome. And I'm using his video to do my video on building a mallet because it was like the easiest instructions out of the mallet builds. And it was direct. And I'm like, oh man, these other guys, they do all these crazy glue ups and all that stuff, and I'm not at that level. So, yeah, you're right, Keith. Those are awesome. Amy, you're welcome. I appreciate you coming in, Amy. Again, normally I'm building something. Today I'm just sorry. I got the mask on. I'm cleaning the shop up, getting rid of wood. Just trying to go through some things. Trying to dial in the live streaming. So I wanted to go live, find out if the sound was good, and work smarter, not harder. That's what Bice says, which is true. Things that are planned out, and this coming from me, like I said, I was in the military for 18 years. I had many men and women under my command. using your head goes a lot further than you think. You don't always have to try to impress somebody. Take your time with it, you know, especially with woodworking. Take your time with it. You know, a lot of people want to get these projects done. They, oh man, I got 2 hours. I want to finish it in 2 hours. You know, it might take you 5 hours. But the thing is, if you do it in 2 hours, you're going to, not only will you know it, but other people will know you rushed it. That's the one thing about woodworking that I'm learning at a very fast pace is that there's no room for cutting corners on certain things. There's no room for, oh, well, I'll just do this because it will reflect in your project. Anytime you do glue ups, anytime you do brad nailing, anytime you do pocket screws, if your angles are off because you rush through cutting it on your table saw or on your miter saw, it's going to reflect in your project. You're going to have open ends, it's not going to seam correctly, and it's going to look terrible. And that is a reflection on your woodworking. So Vice makes amazing boxes, second to none. The craftsmanship he puts into it is awesome. Keith has some of the I'm sorry, from Keith Brewer Woodcrafts. Check him out too. He's one of the smartest guys I know. He's one of those guys that has knowledge in just about everything. So he can help you out from your table saws. He's one of the ones that helped me figure out how to clean my table saw with projects. His videos showing how to make jigs to help a better workflow environment in your shop, which is key. Don't try to be brave when you're doing woodworking. You're going to lose your fingers, you're going to lose, or you're going to cut yourself, and it's a life-altering event. Remember to take your time, and this is coming from me, who, in the situations I've been in my life, especially when I was overseas, table saws scare me a little bit. And he said to me, well, that's right. That's good. You want to respect your tools. You're going to be afraid. The minute you're not afraid of it and you start taking chances is when you get hurt. So woodworking is you have to maintain safety at all times. I wear masks to protect my lungs. Make sure you're maintaining proper procedures and proper techniques on your saws. And there's a lot of videos out there that show how to do that. Keith has a lot of those videos, so check out his channel. Dozer does a lot of builds too, but you know, like this stuff, guys, like all this stuff I got for free. All this wood I got for free. I mean, I have $2,000 probably worth of oak that I got for free. I probably have close to $3,000 worth of maple that I got for free. Poplar, probably 2,000, because I just ask people that are giving away stuff for free. Or I'll go to the local cabinet places or local lumber places that have a dumpster or they have a bin, and I'll be like, is that stuff, can I have some of your scrap wood? So all these, I know they're not stored correctly. Please don't give me any gripe for it. I'm cleaning it. But all these strips of maple up here, I mean, they're 1x6s, some of them 1x8s in the back. There's some 1x12s, all maple, all free. It was in a bin by a local cabinet making company, and they get rid of their scraps because their customers paid for the wood and they can't use it. So they throw it out. I mean, all this, I mean, we're talking, look at this, all this is oak. All oak. All of this is oak. Solid oak, and it goes all the way back. It's probably 56 inches, 64 inches long, an inch thick of oak, solid oak, and I got it all for free. Because I simply just said, hey, what are you doing with all your throwouts? And they're like, hey, you want them? Yeah. Definitely, I'll take them. You can go on Marketplace. All this stuff I got out here from Marketplace. It's not the best quality wood, but once you cut it down, I mean, there's videos. You'll see all this stuff, all free. All of this was all free. 95% of my wood's free. I might have to go and buy some of these cedar fence pickets from time to time for projects of mine, but for the most part, I just wait until they fill up their bins at local lumber yards. I go there and I pick it up. Like I still have no idea what I'm going to do with a lot of it. I'll be honest. Some of it I look at, I'm like, why did I grab that? I'm never going to use it. But that's the wood hoarder in me, I guess. I'm sure I'll find a way for it. I'm like every other woodworker. I'll find something to make out of it. I mean, it could be a piece like this, a cut off piece, and I'll be like, dude, don't throw that out because you're going to need it. And then you end up with buckets like this of scrap wood and piles like this of stuff that you're never going to use. You know you're never going to use it. Uh, but you stare at it. You won't throw it out. Get a woodworker to go through a scrap pile and burn and throw stuff out. A crafter woodworker, not a person who's working with high-end hardwoods, but just like your local woodworker or like crafter guy, he's never going to throw it out. Look at what I made a bucket, and the buckets that we actually right here. I make a lot of buckets for my planters. So I made it. I finished gluing it up. I had it sanded. It was ready to be stained, and I dropped it, and it literally, because the glue I just it wasn't dry enough. Let's just say that. Look, I dropped the whole thing. It busted the whole bucket up. Now, a normal person would take this and throw it out or burn it. Not me. Nope. There's always going to be a use. Oh man, I'll So look at that. Boom, right there. Roof for my squirrel plant, my squirrel feeder, or my birdhouse. Now I don't gotta use wood to make a birdhouse. I have a roof already assembled, and that's exactly what I'm doing with this. Is I'm using it for a roof. So, I'm a hoarder when it comes to wood because it's free, and I always think in my head I'm gonna make something out of that. There's a choo-choo train. You'll see it. Yeah. That's a choo-choo train mailbox. I mean, you guys don't have to call it a choo-choo train. I have kids, so I use children terms from time to time. You're gonna catch. So I'm gonna show you how to do that if you want to make a mailbox. Again, it's a decorative mail, but you can use it. Some states, you remember, check with your local ordinances if you're gonna. Once I released a video and the plans for the choo-choo train mailbox build, it's actually really simple. Just check with your local ordinance because I know some of them won't allow you to have a mailbox that is doctored up like that. They'll say no, you has to be plain. Or I live in Chicago, Illinois, and I mean, you guys know you can't sneeze without them finding you. So, I mean, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. But they look for anything where like I'm even outside the city now. But I grew up in Chicago. I was born in Chicago, and so Dub Bears. Say something about the Bears. I'll band you. And I had a mailbox up, and they all of a sudden code enforcement comes by the house and says, "Listen, I mean it's neat, but you got to have a permit." I'm like, "Permit? A permit for my mailbox?" They're like, "Well, technically the mailbox, once it's on here, and here's where they went. Here's where they went with that. Once it's on the post, it's no longer your property. It's property of the USPS. So it's property of the Postal Service once it's on the post. So you can't do stuff like that to it without specific permission from the United States Postal Service." So I went to the Postal Service and I said, "Yeah, I was going to do this in the mailbox." And they looked at me like, "Yeah. And?" Like, well, they said I couldn't do that. Like, the code enforcement guy said, I have to get permission. And the postmaster's like, "I mean, you could no, as long as we can open the box and it has a flag, you can do whatever you want." And I'm like, "Okay." So I go back to the code enforcement guy. I'm like, "Yeah, the post office said I don't need that." And they're like, "Well, it's a local ordinance." Because, again, and the reason why is they don't want people, dude, with the Steelers. Actually, I don't hate the Steelers. I just hate the Packers. So I can care less. But the local ordinance guys, it's all about making money in Illinois, and that's what's terrible about it. I said they don't require that. And they're like, well, the local, because they don't want people doctoring up their mailboxes. So you look down the street and this one's got a unicorn, this one's got a middle finger mailbox, this one's got a. So that's why they don't want that. It's more of a eyesore to the community type thing. You get that a lot in Chicago. Chicago is not as bad as California is in terms of crazy laws, but it's close because they don't want every Tom, Dick, and Harry just doing what they want on their properties. So they regulate it hardcore. Grass can't go above 4 inches. If you do, if it does, and they send you a notice. If you continue, you get fined. You can actually get fined where I'm at outside of Chicago if your grass exceeds 4 inches, and it's a $75 fine too. Um, so we're probably leaving Illinois as soon as my one son finishes school, and my other kids are going to be starting a new school. So you can hear the church in the background. If you're just tuning in, I appreciate you tuning in. Um, Normally I do builds. Today we're cleaning. I haven't cleaned anything since I've been on live with you guys. You guys are killing me. But I'm trying to figure out what it is I want to do with the oak. Because actually, um, oak, I'm not really sure how to store oak properly. I know there's proper ways to store oak. I have an insulated garage. But as you can tell, guys, if you're new, I'm not. That's why I'm not so ordinary woodworks. I'm in an easy up. I'm in an easy up outside my garage. I don't have a professional shop. This is the only piece of professional equipment I own that I paid for that wasn't on off of Marketplace. It's a nice piece of. Well, we don't know. There was mixed signals if that's either maple or poplar or ash, who knows. And my shop extends like this. I have storage bins in the background from when we moved in here 2 years ago that are still back there, but it's mostly outdoor decorations and stuff like that. But this whole garage is going to be, eventually, we're going to tear it down, extend it widthwise, and we're going to extend it up. But this is my shop. I got my projects sitting here. This is my clamp rack. I don't have, here's my other clamp rack. Let me show you my clamp rack. Let me get the beer signs out of the way. Beer signs that my wife wins at bingo. I'll probably give those away in giveaways. You guys can have them. There's a million of them like this. I don't know if I'm even allowed to show that, but this is my clamp rack. Look at my my poles, my Jorgensen clamps. So all those pipe clamps and those Jorgensens. Here's a crazy thing. So I responded to a Facebook post for $30 for the Jorgensen clamps because I needed one. So I'm like, hey, can I come pick it up? And the guy's like, yeah, I'll be home. He gives me his address on Marketplace, which I don't ever do that. That's crazy. I don't want to have to. Anyway, but so I get there and I take it and I'm like, I'm looking to make sure it works. Obviously, I gotta make sure they work. And I'm like, all right, I appreciate it. I give him the $30 and I load it in the car. He's like, where are you going? I'm like, well, I got the clamp, dude. I appreciate it. He's like, no, that's all of them. I'm like, what do you mean all of them? He's like, all of them, all of it for $30. I'm like 48-inch bar clamp, all these Jorgensen, like. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 Jorgensens, 6 pipe clamps for $30, all of them. I'm like, okay. He's like, they were my stepdad's. He was a woodworker. He no longer does it. I don't want him in my garage. Yeah, they're yours for $30. So I'm like, oh shit. So I got all these clamps for $30. I don't have, I even have this, and my little Performance Max. This was my first saw, just 7.5-inch saw, sliding saw from Performax, and I still use it because it works great for smaller projects. Because, not that you should, but I just feel more comfortable sometimes cutting smaller pieces of wood with this thing than I do with the 12-inch sliding miter saw. Then I have this Black & Decker 12-inch bandsaw from World War II that I got for 30 bucks. It's not from World War II, but that's what I have. I pay $30 for that. So this was, actually, I think this was $40. I think I paid for, yeah, $40. Yeah. So $40 for this. I paid $30 for my Black & Decker 12-inch bandsaw. I paid $80 for this scroll saw, still in the box. Ryobi 16-inch scroll saw, still in the box. And this DeWalt with two, a 1/4-inch round over, 1/2-inch round over, and a straight bit palm router for $70. The guy used it once. So, I mean, if you take all four of these tools together, I spent less than $300. Which easily, a good bandsaw alone will run you $900. So keep that in mind when you're, depending on what kind of woodworking you're doing too. You don't have to run right out and buy a $1,000 bandsaw. Well, what are you making? Well, I make crafts. Wait a minute. So you make crafts, and why do you know what I mean? You just start stuttering when you ask those guys questions. I've gone into my rich friends, my rich friends' garages, and these guys, I mean, they got it. One of them has a wood shop. He's got saw stop, table saw. He's got a Bauer bandsaw. He's got, a 8-inch jointer. He's got a DeWalt planer. He doesn't even know how to do woodworking. He has it because his friends, like my friends that do woodworking, and I think he's used some of the stuff once. The DeWalt planer was never even plugged in, and you can tell because it still had the band on the wires. Like the band, the twisty tie that comes on some of the cords when you buy them. It wasn't even off there yet. So he just buys all this crap to say he has this crap. When in reality, it all depends on what kind of woodworking you're doing. If you're going to make higher end materials with nicer woods, padukes, walnut hardwoods, then yes, you need equipment that can not only cut it, but you need equipment that's going to be able to join it correctly or cut it properly so that you get clean edges. You cannot just use, like this bandsaw that I have, the 12-inch Craftsman. It'll cut, but if I'm trying to be precise with it, it does not have a guide at all. It does not have a fence at all. So if I wanted precision cuts with my bandsaw, it just ain't gonna happen. So, but it's great for what I do for now. You know what I mean? I make crafts and stuff that you can sell at craft shows so that you can make money. That's what I do. Hopefully you make money with my projects. I know you'll make money with my projects because my projects aren't at craft shows. You'll show up there and everybody, will say, "Hey, where'd you get that planter?" Like everyone else has these cedar box planters. I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I could make those. If you want one, I'll make one for you." But I'm like, or you can check out my planter. I made it from 2x4s. It looks like it's not 2x4s, but like this. I hate to keep repeating myself, guys, but that's 2 2x4s, 3 2x4s, 2 2x4s. So it's a 2x4 that I cut down. It's 2 2x4s. I used 2 2x4s to make that. I cut them at 2.5 inches. Or was it 2 inches? 2 inches. 2 inches. Sorry. 2-inch strips, and I just ripped through it. And I want to say the original design for that was Guardian Woodworking. I want to say, but he did butt joints. So I mitered and I 45'd all my joints in, and I changed the measurements on it completely. So it's not even exactly the same. The only thing that's the same with this planter is that it's a V-shaped planter. It's hollow. You can fit any size plant inside of it. but I 45 the end. You can see that, you know, some of them don't. It's a planter. Don't go nuts. It's not going in the Vatican. So, I mean, it's how many of these have you seen on Marketplace? How many of these have you? How many of these? If anybody can show me a picture of these being sold at their local craft shows, I'll give you this for free. Because I guarantee nobody is. And hopefully, again, that's a video. Hopefully, when you watch the video on how to make that from me, you make money off of that. Because that's my goal. My goal is to make you guys make money with my projects. And I'm doing some. One of the things I'm going to be doing next, it's actually inside, is I'm twisting wood. So I'm doing a twisted wood lamp project that I saw online, and I just changed it a little bit so that I'm bending the wood with using miter cuts, which you can do it on a table saw, but I'm better with my miter saw. So, and I'm gonna bend it, and it's gonna be an arch lamp with LEDs, and on the top of it, because there's no heat dispersion, there's minor heat dispersion, but it won't cause any fire when you use LEDs. There's a slit in it for a piece that goes in there, an acrylic piece that goes in there and illuminates in 3D. So it's going to be a really cool project. Again, that video is coming out soon. But mainly right now I'm sticking to crafts because it's August. You know, in a couple of days, craft shows are starting. Now is the chance, now is the time that woodworkers make the most money, is the fall, Christmas season, and in the spring. Unless you're like a furniture maker, or, you know, you're a carver where you can sell your products, you know, you're a resin art person like Amy, you're not going to be able to sell your projects year round if you don't, you know what I mean. I don't make projects that will sustain a full-time job year round. I don't make tables, I don't make chairs, you know. I will eventually, but I stole that idea from Turning Merchant. I actually didn't. Which idea? Hi, Carol. Carol's in here. Sorry, I'm rambling, guys. Oh yeah, there's Carol. You know, you guys subscribe to Carol, subscribe to Highback, subscribe to Bice, Minnesota Maker, all of them. You guys, if you're new and you don't know who I am, I'm Ken from KnotSoOrdinary Woodworks. Retired Marine. So watch what you say about America on my chats. And family guy, religious guy, trying to bring some unique builds to you guys so you can make some money doing some crafts. I do a lot of designing too. I'm also a full-time professional photographer and editor. And I also drive a truck for parts. And I also help out a buddy's restaurant deliver food. And I have my woodworking. So I'm literally working 4 jobs. So I got a job for each member of my family. My 3 kids and my wife. My wife's a teacher. She's gung-ho. I love my wife. She's a beast. Let me tell you. She helps. I mean, I love being a father. It was more than anything in the entire world. There's no different. I mean, I had animals before that. I thought, oh, I got my dog. I'm not knocking animals. I've had pets my whole life, but when I had my child, my son, it's a whole nother world. And there isn't anything I wouldn't do or sacrifice for my family. So if I have to work extra time to do that, I will. You know, the military pension I get is great, but that goes into an account for later in life. And I'm just a grinder, you know what I mean? I see something, I gotta get it. That's the Marine in me. If I see it, I'm gonna get it, and I'll figure out a way to get it. But it's gonna be mine, depending on what that is. Don't get all weird. But so we're gonna be doing arts and craftsy type stuff. We're gonna be doing not really too much, but most of it's just to like decorate your projects. Like this project here, I used Rafa. So I use glue guns on some of my projects so that, again, you guys can bring them to your craft shows. If you guys want to subscribe, that'd be awesome. And hit the like button. But my projects that I make, that I put out, one, they're not on YouTube because nobody's made them. They're my designs. Most of them. Not all of them, most of them. Or it's a design that I altered. But a lot of the Halloween projects I have coming out, I've researched and nobody made them before, and I'm the first. So use them, change them, make a video on them. I don't care. Get it out there if you want. The whole reason I didn't originally want to be on YouTube is because my crafts sell very well at craft shows. Nobody has them. The traffic I get in and out of my booth is insane. I do have your smalls because smalls are what draw people in. I put one, maybe two large projects outside my craft show, outside my booth. No price. I put a price tag on them, but it's a little piece of cloth or a little piece of paper tab that so they have to touch it to see it. Because I want them touching the project. Because some people will have a cutting board sitting there, $300 or $200. Well, yeah, you're probably right. It's Paduke, it's Purple Heart. Not to mention the process. You're right. I mean, you have a lot of exotic hardwoods there, but they don't pick it up. They just look at it, and they can't justify the price for it. So I don't ever put prices up. I have one thing facing up at my craft booth that says my name, my company name. It has a QR code that links them to my socials and my email. That's it. Everything else is you have to touch it or go close to it in order to see the price on it. Because the closer they get to the project, the more they'll see the craftsmanship. They have to pick it up. They'll feel the weight. And my projects sell all the time. When I go to some of the local craft shows around my area now, pretty much everybody knows me, and they get excited to see what I came up with next. But I pump out the projects, and I do really well in the fall and Christmas season, and pretty okay in the spring. Spring's tough for me because we got the kids, they're leaving school. We got camp. The weather's starting to get nice. The wife, I got to get the projects done around the house. My wife's not, climbing. She would climbing up on the gutters. My wife cuts the grass. I do the edging. Now listen. Before I start getting grief, hey Greg. Before I start getting grief and my wife cutting the grass, it was her idea. She likes cutting the grass. I will cut the grass, but she likes cutting the grass. And I told her, I'm like, that's fine, because she loves exercising. And I'm like, but I want you to tell the neighbors that it was your idea to cut the grass, because I don't want them being like, who's this? Dude, this guy, this piece of shit makes his wife cuts the grass. So I'm like, you need to explain, But luckily and honestly, I was blessed with great neighbors. The priests for the church that we attend, they live across the street. They're one of my neighbors. Like I said, I'm from Chicago, Illinois. Mostly Cubs fans on my block. Pro country, not pro politics. There's a difference. So anyone scrolling through that, they're pro country. They're family oriented. They all have either children or pets, or they're retired. It's a great community where I live. There's times where I'm outside with my saws during the fall till 11 o'clock at night, and I ask them ahead of time, hey, are you okay? I just got a lot of project, and they're like, no, you're good, we can't hear you. I'm like, yeah, you know what, if I get too loud, just give the light a flicker outside their house, and that'll let me know, okay, it's time, and I'll shut down shop and I'll go back inside. So again, I appreciate all of you coming in. I know BV's going live soon, and I know everyone kind of goes in there. I just wanted to introduce you to the shop, kind of let you know who I am, what I'm trying, what my mission objective is, and show you the shop a little bit. Let you know that I'm not a guy who has $50,000 worth of equipment. I don't have a professional shop. I'm inside my garage with an easy up outside of it. I'm burning in the heat. I'm sweating. I'm grinding. So I can bring you guys some projects that hopefully make you money. And again, if you knew who I was, a few years ago, I shut everybody off from the world after I left the Marine Corps, and I didn't really care to talk to people. So it's been very therapeutic for me The woodworking community opened me up with opening arms. I support all of them. I watch most of their videos if I have time. I'm super busy, so it's know that if you're in here and you don't always see a comment from me in your comment section, I do watch your videos. I do hit the like button. I don't always have time to either leave a comment or I forget. So I'm sorry for that, but um, all of you guys have been an inspiration. Whether it's Carol does really amazing work. She's not a woodworker. She's a crafter. She paints and she's extremely talented at that. So check her out. Amy does amazing work with resin art. She's awesome at doing that. She makes pens and stuff. And Highback really very good at it. Bice is kind of all over the board. He's pretty good at making everything, but he does really awesome boxes and really. It's hard. He's like one of those woodworkers that's pretty skilled in all areas. But Benner's makes some really cool stuff too. All you guys make really cool projects, and I learned every time I've watched you. And I'll be throwing a shout out to Bice in my mallet build video with his links, so that you could watch his video as well. Because to repeat myself from earlier, I watched probably 30 mallet build videos, and his was just the simplest, easy to understand. You're not going, super crazy, but he gave you enough room in there. What I like about the video, he gave you enough room in his video to where you can alter your design to change it if you want to. And because the instructions are so precisely clear, like the mallet that I'm building, I was like, oh man, I can do this and do that because I know I can change that because based off of that, I can do that. So I'm getting better with that. I appreciate you guys watching my videos. I know the last Halloween build was really was really long. I didn't mean it to be that long, but I was teaching in that video, if that makes sense to you guys. And I know now that was the first. I shot that last month. I just finished editing it, but I know now not to do that. And I've changed. My videos are now down to, 17 minutes, 22 minutes, stuff like that. I'm telling woodworkers and crafters that are professionals, hey, watch your hand when you're using the brad nailer so you don't go through the finger, because I've done that. I've gone through my finger with a brad nail. Like if you're going to paint, if you're going to use stain, make sure you're wiping it on smooth. Like, you don't need to tell people that. They've been doing it, by longer than me. Just say, hey, we're going to stain it this, and then you cut and you come back. So there's a lot of curves and a lot of new things I'm working on. See, Bice said it was his idea, or that was the idea behind his video, was to make it simple enough to build it and improve on it, and that's what I'm trying to do. Keith's Brewers, check out his channel too. Incredibly talented woodworker, super knowledgeable in all areas woodworking, and as well as computers. And if there's something you need help with, hit up his comment section or hit up, he's got his email in there, and he'll help you out as best he can. He's helping me out with my YouTube stuff. He was one of the guys that told me that, like, dude, stop teaching woodworkers how to do woodworking. And I'm like, what? He's like, well, you're explaining it too much. You're funny. He's like, but then you're telling them, like, hey, make sure you do this. Like, if you're a woodworker on YouTube, you have to realize that your core demographic is usually 30 to 55-year-olds, and you don't really get the youngsters in your channels doing woodworking. It's just not a niche on YouTube. YouTube, the 16, 17, 18-year-olds, they're flexing, they're slapping people at malls to get reactions. They're staging their videos. They're, the AI will be snuffing those out soon. They post ridiculous things because they want engagement, not realizing that pretty soon, like, comment section means nothing to the channel. You need to hit it, like it, and watch it for it to give you engagement, which is good. I'm guilty of that, by the way. If you know me, I love trolling videos. I don't mean to do it because I'm not a mean person, but I feel when you're misleading somebody, that somebody should say something. That's the Marine in me. The Catholic in me is like, dude, you know, be respectful, be kind. Not everybody in the world is going to be a good person. Evil's out there. As long as you have your core values and your faith, you can do what you can to help, but at the same time, don't be a part of the problem. You know, just ignore the problem. So I used to troll them all the time. Like I have videos coming out where I have a video coming out where I'm sitting at the corner of the street by me with a 2x4. Literally, I'm sitting there like this. Uh, I'm sitting there like this, and I have on the 2x4. There's a sign that says for sale, $300, and I'm just sitting there like this with it, like just a 2x4. It says 2x4 for sale, $300. And the whole reason was that is that a lot of these YouTubers, like make $300 off this board, and you watch the video because it's clickbait. We all know that at this point, but you watch it because sometimes there's some value to them, and you're like, nobody's buying that. I don't know who you're talking to, but it's terrible. It's not even a good project, and you'd made it so poorly that I don't even think I want to show my kids this video because they're going to be like, who did that? I'm like, well, they did. Apparently, you can make $300 if I made 500 of these. I don't know where, but, so I want to make a little bit of comedy, a little bit of parody comedy with my YouTube. Good teaching moments, projects that can help you guys out, and, we'll keep it fair. We'll keep it simple. I have to do mods and all that stuff. I haven't done any of that yet. I haven't done a horizontal live yet to do that. So I have to pick the mods and all that stuff. I just wanted to dabble with the vertical today while I was cleaning the garage. And hopefully it went okay. And then I know we're all going to go watch. What time is it? We got to watch. It's 5:30. So BV's going live soon. I know a lot of you watch that. And I gotta get dinner going in a minute before the wife comes home. And actually, I can take you with me really quick. Let me close the trunk on the Merc. And don't judge me by that, please. Yes, I have a Mercedes SUV. One, I've earned that. Two, I got it used, so relax. And three, the only reason I bought that is because they screwed up on the sticker price at CarMax when I went there. I went there for a completely different car, and I saw the Mercedes sitting there, and I'm like, what's going on with that thing? And the car salesman's like, oh, we're selling it. And I'm like, well, how much are you selling it for? And he's like, well, I think the sticker price on it's this. And I'm like, what's wrong with it? Like, nothing. We just got it in from Tennessee. And I'm like, he's like, it was one owner. Elderly lady must have owned it because it's really low miles. And I'm like, okay, can I test drive it? And he let me test drive it. And I'm driving around in it, and it's the most comfortable, SUV. Mercedes definitely makes quality stuff, but it's just very, 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 very expensive. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I kind of like it. I'm like, is it reserved? He's like, no, you can buy it. So I'm like, yeah, here's the down payment. I gave him money. I gave him $7,000 for a down payment. And we did the paperwork. I left there. And here's the funny thing. After I left, 2 days later, they called me up. They called me up and they said, hey, listen, we made a mistake on the paperwork. The car was supposed to be listed for like $9,000 more. And I wasn't trying to be rude, but I'm like, listen, the contract's already signed, man. I'm sorry. He hung up on me, and that was it. But, I mean, that's not my fault. You made a mistake, Hopefully, again, there's places like that. They make mistakes, and I knew that. I'm like, there's no way a Mercedes is going for that cheap. Something's got to be wrong with it. Is there an engine in it? And he's like, yeah, it runs great. I drove it. I fell in love with it. I came home. My wife. Oh my God! When I came home with the Mercedes, because we have children, we have a Chevy Traverse too. That's her horse. that drives the family. We go camping a lot and stuff like that. We do a lot of outdoor stuff with my camper that I got from my father before he passed away. And we, she just, her mouth was like, oh my God, I don't even want to know how much money he just spent on a Mercedes. And I'm like, babe. She's like shaking her head. She's like, you taking that back? Hey, RJ. And hey, Joseph, what's up, man? Lakeside Lower. So, she's like, you better be taking that car back. I don't know why did you buy a Mercedes? And I'm like, she's like, and I'm like, babe. And I explained the story to her, and she's like, oh, well, okay. I'm like, exactly. I'm not. There's no way they screwed up. They screwed up big on the paperwork. They listed it for almost 10 grand lower than it was supposed to be because they screwed up the paperwork. I was there for a different SUV for my photography business because I do photography and that as well, and I do editing. But I know I don't do weddings, and I don't have the looks for wedding photography anymore. I'm a beat up old Marine, so I definitely don't have the looks for that. I don't even have the face for YouTube, but we're doing it. And sorry, spilled water everywhere. And the reason I don't do weddings is because it's oversaturated now. That market is tapped. It's like woodworking, kind of. All these people go out and buy digital cameras. They don't know what they're doing. I can buy a DSLR camera. I'm going to go out and get a Canon or Nikon mirrorless camera. And then they go and underbid jobs at a fraction of what they're supposed to cost. And then they produce terrible results. So now a lot of people are resorting to iPhone photography. iPhone photography is on the up because the technology is pretty good. But the separation between the two, and you have to understand that you will not get the same results with a professional glass, professional series lens. I have Canon and a professional camera as you will with a cell phone. Close up, like portrait wise, you can get similar results, but what you don't realize is that the format of that picture on your phone is limited. On a professional, I could take a picture of, like, say Bearded Grooves. I took a picture, a portrait picture of him. I could literally blow it up on the side of a building in crystal clear, and it'll be crystal clear. That's the difference between a professional camera and using your iPhone for photography. The technology is getting to be pretty good, but, and, I hope it doesn't replace it, but there's just no money in photography anymore because there's so many people doing it, so many people that claim that they're photographers and don't. I don't like. One lady had she called me and she had asked me if I could shoot her wedding for $700. I did not hang up on her. But I said, listen, I cannot. And the reason why is my insurance, what's going to cost me, it's going to cost me $500 just to pay my videographer. So that leaves me with $200. And then what? I still have to take 5,000 images or less. I have to edit them. So editing time. You want products, right, from your wedding. You want flip books and all that stuff. I'm like, and what people don't realize too is, I'm cooking right now. What people don't realize is that in photography, like wedding photography, when you really break down what wedding photography is, the brides and the grooms, they'll spend $100,000 on a venue. First of all, it's a religious ceremony. It's a bond between you and your wife. It used to be a religious ceremony. Now it's a goddamn show. It's look at me, come eat steak and lobster with me. Look, I'm gonna rappel down from the ceiling like an idiot. And I'm gonna ride in on a horse. Get out of here. It's a religious ceremony, bonding you and your wife together as partners. Like, take it serious. So anyways, they will spend $100,000 on a venue, but they want to pay $2,000 for a photographer. It's like, you do realize that the only way that anyone's going to know your wedding existed outside of their memories is the photography, is the pictures. So when you really break it down, Miss Bridezilla and Mr. Groomsman, once you guys are done handing out product gifts to all your guests, realize that the venue is probably the most important part of, or most expensive part, and then your photographer should be, because he's going to make sure, or she's going to make sure, that your wedding is top notch and that you have a core memory of your life captured perfectly. And that costs money. I'm sorry, that would be like me going to Hobby Lobby and being like, "Hey, can you build me a box of just a box?" And then going to like Bice and being like, "Hey, can you build me a box?" You're gonna get professional stuff from Bice, but that costs money. Professional work costs money. Um, Handmade stuff is on the rise. That's good. Uh, don't mind my glue up or my paint job. My house is that's actually not too bad. We're gonna be cooking smoke butt. I don't know if you guys like smoke butt. I've never had smoke butt. It's definitely selective. Not everybody likes that type of meat. Jesus. Okay. And you can go to your local butcher too and get some good smoked butt. Smoked butt is just pork shoulder, by the way. It's a boneless pork shoulder, but it's just, I call it's smoked butt. It's ham. It's fatty. Some people think it's gross. I love it. So what I do is I boil it, and then this is not a cooking station, by the way, but I'm getting dinner ready. So you're stuck. Go somewhere else. I'm gonna be boiling it, and then I'm gonna put in green beans and onions in the pot, and then it just cooks for an hour. Yeah, so again, if you're new, I don't have any cutting boards for sale. Sorry. I do have experience and I do have knowledge that I want to pass out to other woodworkers so that they can be profitable, as well as, I don't know, maybe it gets their creative juices flowing. When I watch a lot of Carol's stuff, when she's painting, or I watch like, oh, Scotty, what up, buddy? I watch a bunch of Scotty stuff, Dozer stuff. Like everyone has a different thing, and you kind of do with it what you will. You put it in what you will, and it helps me. It helps my projects get better. So like watching like Amy's streams, or watching Highback streams, or watching Keith's, or watching Bice's, or watching Dozers. I'll watch what they're doing on their videos, and I'll just tweak it. So it actually improves mine. Like with Carol, she'll do like, because I went to an art school originally, right out of high school before I joined the military, and like just techniques that she uses, I'll implement in how I design my crafts, or how I'm painting my crafts. I'll be like, "Ooh, I didn't even know you can do that," and I'll do it, and I'll be like, "Oh, damn, it's way better." Good on you for that. Same thing with like every single one of you guys in chat. Your woodworking abilities and your friendly kindship and openness has changed my life, and I appreciate and thank all of you. I really don't know where I would be if I didn't find this community or woodworking. So life can sometimes take a deep turn on you, and I was not. My children probably saved my life. I'll be honest. Not saying I don't love my wife and that, but having kids definitely changed my life for the better. Thank God. Every day. You're not promised tomorrow, so don't think that you are. So live each day, as though it's a gift. And I try to do that. Sorry I'm so ugly. I will not be doing woodworking in a thong or Daisy Dukes. Sorry. I will not be doing ASMR videos. I will be, hey Wayne on the way. But yeah, I will, I'm just trying to do something different. That's why I came up with the name Not So Ordinary. It wasn't a counter to John at Not Your Average Woodworks. it was just I figured I wasn't ordinary, and so it's not necessarily a reflection upon the projects that I will be producing. Some of it, but the majority of that is I'm not so ordinary. I'm a different person. I'm a different, unique individual. You know, 6 months of watching woodworking and then joining a community and being part of the crew has changed my life, and I have everyone in chat now, especially to thank for that. It saved my life. It brought me to a better place. It helps me connect with my children better. Church was doing that, but it was hard for me to express myself outside of a religious aspect, if that makes sense. So when I'm at church with my kids and stuff like that, we're a community, but it's hard to express my life's aspirations outside of me talk, because my neighbor's the priest. I'll sit outside and we'll gabble, and he'll just talk to me about stuff. But outside of that, I didn't really have anybody to turn to talk to. We're new to this community, so even going to church, we're like the new guys in the church. So, and my kids are, they're young. And I mean, to put this in, so our second time at church, my 4-year-old disappeared. Second time at church. We had been in the community for almost a year, and so I'm freaking out, because there's a back section to our church called the cry room. That's where they kind of put the kids to kind of separate people from the children. So because they cry, kids, there's people that are there to pray, and there's people that are there with children, and sometimes it's distracting. So they were in the cry room, and anyways, I'm hanging out with my other son, and Teresa got up to go to the bathroom, and my other son's sitting there, and I'm like, okay. She comes back in the bathroom, she's sitting there, and then 2 seconds later, she's like looking down, because the kids he's 4 years old. It's hard for him to sit still. Where he's at? Do you know where he was? He was on the altar with the priest, because he knows the priest as our neighbor. He doesn't really, like, in his head, he doesn't comprehend. He's up there, hi, Father John. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, everyone in the church is laughing. I run up there. I'm like, I'm so sorry, Father John. and he's like, he's talking. I mean, it was hilarious. What's going on? Bice is fishing right now. Oh, he's in the kitchen right now. What's everyone else doing? Sorry, I'm again, I didn't really want to be live this long. I just kind of wanted to do a test run and clean the shop out, but I blame Keith for that. It's 5:30. Lakeside Laura, hello. And Scotty's here. Scotty's on work trip right now. I think he works for a male magazine. I'm not sure. He'll tell you later. So let me know, guys, because I'm cooking here too. Because I'm just trying to keep going live. What is this? Oh, that's right. I forgot to paint. Don't make fun of my paint job. I redid all these. So all this. When we moved in, they were flat with no recess, and they were gray, like an ugly gray. And I couldn't. Even my wife was like, can we get paint over them? I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna change them up. We're gonna change them up. So I literally painted all of it this color, and then I changed it up on the outline on the top, painted the walls. This house we're in. Look at this. I got some people would be like, is that a pizza oven? It's actually not. This is a charcoal burning indoor grill. So I could literally put charcoal in here, like just Coleman charcoal or whatever charcoal you use, and I can grill inside with charcoal. And there's the exhaust like a chimney. I don't ever use it. because I don't know, maybe with I don't want them touching it or going near it, but or the carbon monoxide either. Okay. One onion. And once I'm ready to stop going live, you'll know because I'll hear the front door, and that means that the kiddos are home, and it's time for me to do dad stuff. We're gonna eat. We're gonna go to the church park and hang out and play. You know, I'm that dad that mom doesn't. I'm the dad that mom doesn't like. What are you guys doing? I'm like, well, I'm showing Benson how to do a pile driver from Stone Cold Steve Austin, and she just like stares at me and walks away. All right, you know what's gonna happen. One of them's gonna get hurt. I'm like, babe, they're fine. They're boys. My kids are animals. They're animals. I love them to death, but my 4-year-old for the first time said something explicit, and I tried my hardest not to laugh. But he was downstairs, and I don't know where he got it from. Probably my children have been in daycare because me and Teresa both work since they were a year old, which I don't like, but we didn't really have a choice. And I got some medical issues because of what I used to do, and we just work a lot. But he was downstairs playing with his toys in the playroom, and I just hear, "What in the F was that?" And I'm just like, me and Teresa look at each other, and we start almost laughing, and I'm like, "No." And I'm like, "No, he didn't say it." She's like, "I think he did." So we get closer to the stairs, and he repeats it, "What the F?" And I'm like, "Oh my," we just like start laughing, and I got to be dad. I'm like, Hey, what did you just say? Did you just say a bad word? No. And then my other son, who's a little snitch, my older son, he's like, yeah, he did, Dad. He said the F word. And I'll be like, oh, thanks, Ambassador. Don't snitch on your brother, first of all. You're supposed to be on his team, not my team. And then he gets punished, for that. My kids you have to have some type of discipline. I don't go hardcore like my dad used to with the belt and all that, but kids will be kids. But Teresa is like, "Are you ever going to punish them? Are you ever going to do anything?" She's like, "You just let them get away with whatever they want." I'm like, "They're my boys." I'm like, "Yeah." I yell at them all the time, but also we had a structure to where me and Teresa, we coordinate our attacks on our children, not physical attacks, but we coordinate our attacks on our kids where it's, this is how I cut an onion. I don't know if you guys can see that. Is John in chat? Oh my God, he's loving it. And then I fold it sideways, and now I can get I get all my little pieces out of it. That's not why I'm doing it. No. I mean, you gotta remember when I was overseas, I ate stuff that would make most people sick, and we ate like that because, well, we were hungry, and we didn't know. And if you ever had an MRE, it tastes worse than eating toilet paper. So some of them are pretty good. You get like the tomato soups and all that jazz. Some of them are pretty good. So I got my smoke butt. This is not a cooking stream, by the way, for those that are just tuning in. It should be a woodworking stream, but I have to get dinner ready for the family. So we're having pork shoulder with green beans. And I doubt my kids will eat it. They love ham, but The last time we did smoke butt was they were really young, and I think they ate it just because it was food. So we're gonna see how they respond to it again. I do have a cutting board right here. Yeah. Wayne's like, you need a cutting board. I got a cutting board. I got paper plates. Spread no expense. Dude, this is what the chefs do in the city. You just don't see it. They're cutting on paper plates. You don't. That ratatouille stuff's not real. No, so I do have I do actually have cutting boards, Wayne. But I am just rushing through this because I didn't realize I only wanted to be on for an hour. I wanted to just test my stream to make sure the sound was good, and I've been rambling ever since. But if you know me and you know the Marine in me, you'll know that I never used to talk until I met everybody here. I never used to hang out and have conversations. I would sit there in complete silence at family parties, events. So me rambling for 2 hours on a live stream is not what I would consider normal for me. And I have all of you to thank for that. And we can put the whole onion in, right? Or put it all in. So the onion I put in now, I should probably put like a, what do they call those? Aprons on, or a bib. Flak jacket, put on my bulletproof vest. I will not, I do not have guns in my house. I should repeat that. I do not have many guns in my house. Let's see, I got 11. Yeah, 11 peacekeepers. So, yeah, I own 11 peacekeepers, and my wife has 6 peacekeepers. My wife's a big gun person. She really likes, she goes shooting with me all the time. She's actually really good at it. Teresa is actually very good. I don't know if you guys saw in my shop, but she's very good with a bow and arrow. Her compound bow, she's extremely accurate with it. Never been hunting for sport. That's why I said for sport, because I've hunted for food. But I've never done hunting for sport. Not because I don't want to. I don't want to. I've sat in some of the most, I've literally have been on some of the most extreme parts of Earth, on terrain on this planet. I'm not doing it again, voluntarily. That's not happening. My friends will go hunting, and then when they're done hunting, I'll buy some of the meat off of them. But that's not fun for me. God bless everybody who hunts. I get why. A lot of people don't like that you hunt animals. But what they don't realize is that when deer get overpopulated, actually what's going to happen is the majority of them are going to starve to death, suffer, or carry out diseases that other animals are going to eat. So it's actually, you have to thin out that deer. Otherwise it can hurt. It has a bigger ecological damaging effect than a lot of activists or people that don't like that would realize. If it's rotten and animals eat it, now they get disease. Now this animal bites this animal. This animal gets this animal bites this animal is eating off of this that was diseased. Now this animal. Now we hunt it. Now you get so it's a spiral effect. So Yeah, exactly, Bice. I just this YouTube community has been. Sorry that I'm rambling again. I'm not used to talking to public, to people. I got my pot going. I gotta put a lid on it. I do not drink, do not do drugs, despite a lot of people thinking that a lot of military men, they do. I don't. I never got into drugs. Don't drink anymore. I've been 16 years sober March 3rd. That was an eye-opener for me, too, as well. And I do not vape. I will smoke a stogie, a cigar from time to time, or, even a cigarette. I hate to admit that, but that's been being efforted. My wife is trying to help me with that. That was more of an anxiety thing. All right, so I guess I'll ramble for another minute. You guys are almost out of here. We're going to go over to, I don't know, somebody else's, I guess. Advice, when does BV go live? Or Wayne? Or is he on now? I've never seen this before. You guys ever seen that? Oh, it's backwards. Right. So, here. For those that, it's because I think right? It's backwards. So, blam. It's root beer float root beer. $7:30, but that's Eastern time? No. Yeah, I think so. Because Eastern. Eastern. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, he's gonna be on in a minute. But yeah, I gotta do mods and stuff, Bice. That's a video tick of mine. People watching, everyone's got that. But my tick is I say okay so, like I have to edit okay so out of like 900 reels of mine when I'm doing my editing of my builds. Literally have to go through and I'll be like, okay, so, and I'll start doing my project, and then I'll cut scene, go to the next angle, and I'll be like, okay, so now what we're gonna do is, and I'll be like, so literally every other cut scene is me saying, okay, so that's my tick. Everyone's got a film tick, they call it in the film industry, because I used to also work for Disney. Very short term. I helped with the Rise of Skywalker. I was a special effects supervisor for Disney, and I was also a visual effects creator for Mandalorian. I worked on the Mandalorian project for 2 years and left. So it was, it is what it is. Not the best work environment, but I did it. I kind of fell into that job by accident, I'll be honest. And they kind of promoted me for different reasons, I guess. But a lot of people didn't know that about me. Some people knew that about me. I don't publicize my military background, and I usually don't publicize that I worked on Mandalorian in Star Wars as a special effects creative director. My name is in the credits. But also, what you guys don't realize too is so those names in the credits at the end of the movies, that is bought and paid for. Also, what you guys have to realize is that awards are bought and paid for. Academy Awards, Golden Globe Awards are paid for by the studios. So you have to. They actually, because I don't care if I'm exposing this. I don't work for them anymore. What, are they gonna cancel me? They pay ahead of time for a bid to be nominated. Well, there's no cap to that bid. So now you know why some movies you're like, how the hell is that win? How did that win? It's terrible. Well, because they paid for it. That's a little secret. Shh. Don't say nothing. A lot of the film industry is like that, Most of the people in the film industry are fake. I met some really awesome actors when I worked at Disney because I had to, especially working on the Star Wars films and especially working on the Mandalorian show. Awesome people, hands down great people. There are some rude ones. I'm not going to name their names, but a lot of actors that are just very self-centered, rude, on-set, off-set. You know, there would be times where I would have to have them come in because a scene was what we call it was dipped. So it something happened with the visual effects background, not the acting, to where there was an augmentation within the render scene. When it rendered, it didn't properly capture the right angle of the actor or actress, and we would have to have them do a reshoot. So they would have to come in and redo portions of the scene, but they don't have to have anybody else there. So it's not a full-on set. You're in a warehouse that's blue or green, and it's just a bunch of walls, and we'll have them do specific scenes. They don't. Sometimes they have to put the suit back on. Usually they don't, because then what we do is when we are doing the animation for it or the special effects for it, we'll composite it together, and then we kind of delete them, if you will. It's not far off. You know, we use primarily DaVinci at Disney. We used a lot of Adobe Premiere at Disney. Mainly DaVinci though, Pro Tools, stuff like that. DaVinci's an awesome, if you're an editor, DaVinci has a free version that's amazing. If you're going to be doing YouTube, if you're going to be on TikTok, whatever you want to do your editing on, I highly recommend DaVinci. The free program it'll change your editing. There's really not a lot of free programs out there that are good. You know, you'll have CapCut, but they limit your usage to what you're doing to your videos. DaVinci, you can make full-on AI'd videos right out of the gate with a free version. So check them out. I'm not sponsored by them, by the way. It's just a really good program. You know, if I believe in something, a program, I'm going to support it, regardless of if they pay me to tell people that or not. So. You know, again, we used mostly that at Disney, especially during the Star Wars films. Making of the last Star Wars film, Rise of Skywalker, was all primarily done with that. Most of the CGI program was done with that. Yeah, so that's a little bit about that. And then left Disney, so retired from the military, left Disney, and started doing photography. And then I started doing, worked at a couple of studios doing professional sports photography. You want to talk about a handsome group of individuals. These athletes, these professional athletes, especially in Chicago, because I'm from Chicago, when we were shooting the Bears players, or we had, you know, we have to do promotional shoots. So they would have a Nike shoot, or they would have, you know, Reebok or whatever. So they would come into designated studios outside of the city of Chicago. Hey, Rich. Hey, Moyak. And what a lot of people don't know about Chicago is if you've ever been to Chicago and you leave the downtown Chicago area and you'll drive, and on the expressways you'll see to your left and your right what looks like warehouses, and what actually is those are studios. Most of them are studios, which is how they're able to film all these things in Chicago and have the Chicago look, is because the majority of abandoned warehouses in Chicago are $50 million studios, and you'll never know that because you just drive right past it, and there's guards so you won't get close enough to see it. But these professional athletes would complain, like I'm not going to mention his name. He was on the Chicago Bulls, and he had a shoot for a sneaker. I'm not going to name that name, and he was 2 hours late to the shoot. Now these are professional athletes that are contracted by that particular brand for their time, you know, and they would be like 2 or 3 hours late, and I'd just be like, I mean, you know, I mean, I'm getting paid too, so, but, you know, and then, oh man, this is stupid, I don't want to be here. Yeah, you know what, we could switch. You're being paid $4 million for the next 2 hours. I'll put the damn sneakers on naked for $4 million. I would be here early. I'd be here early, and I'd be licking the shoes. What can I do, you know, for $4 million? And they're like, I don't want to be here. I'm a baby. Me. Another one to check out too, besides Bice and Wayne, guys, is Moyak. Super knowledgeable guy. He has a lot of great information in his head that he's trying to get out there on YouTube as well. Check out his channel also. And it's very informative on his building process, his sanding process, and it just gets you a little bit to know again about what he does. You have to check out his channel, so go check it out. But he's extremely talented at what he does. Sorry again for being on so long, everyone. I really told Keith and everyone, I'm like, I'm gonna go on for like an hour just so I can get it dialed in. I can get my garage cleaned out. And I went into ramble mode. I still have to do mods. I have to pick out mods. My sponsorship that's contacting me. My sponsor's my studio. So I'm sponsoring me for tax reasons. My accountant is brilliant. Which it does nothing for me. It just, it's a possible chance for me to do because I do a lot of, I do youth sports for my photography, by the way. I don't work for that studio anymore. I started my own photography company, and I take pictures of youth sports. And I also take pictures at the college level for for the fraternities and the sororities. So that's all I do. But the kids' youth sports I love it. I mean, we go to the field, we'll take pictures of the kids playing baseball and stuff, and then obviously they can buy them, or when we do picture day, any parent that has a child in sports knows you go, you get your form, you fill it out, you pay, they come in, they line up, you take the pictures, you leave. But it's like extremely enjoyable for me because these kids are like super excited about what they're doing and being athletes. So I definitely love doing it. Banners, where did you go? Did you challenge him in golf? He'll take all his money. Challenge who in golf? You're gonna challenge Moyak in golf? That's not gonna happen. Anyone have any tips, as long as you're live, and I don't care because it's my first live. Any tips for anyone that does lives? Should I be engaging in chat a little bit more? Is the rambling? You know what I mean? This is a test run for my YouTube live because I'm not a live person. I'll do them, but I'm just more of a build person, and I'll do some shorts. But let me know feedback, please, guys. Don't be afraid to negatively give me constructive criticism because I love that kind of stuff. I don't care what it is. Just shoot it out there. Throw it. Tell me what it is. Hey, you're doing this. You're talking too much. You're not engaging with chat. You smell funny. Brush your teeth. You got snot in your nose. I don't care. Because you got to remember, there's a lot of people on these reels. Females, males. There's, like I was saying to Bryce earlier, there's literally a guy on the YouTube Shorts that plays with his teeth. He plays with his teeth like it's a denture that and he has like 1,700 people watching him, which is probably mostly bots, and that's probably a looped video because he never engages with chat. So more than likely it's a bot account. Thank God the AI is going to be taking care of that. But then again, you get the ASMR channels, and you got it's just weird. I mean, there's a guy that's like exercising. Good on him. He's a bigger guy, a bigger gentleman. He's trying to lose some weight, but he's filming that, which okay. You got people playing the guitar. You got people staging videos. It's weird. YouTube Live is, when I'm scrolling through that night, I'm like, what is going on with the world today? These people need God. Holy moly. Where are your parents? One girl writes all over her face, like, if I hit 999 likes, I'm going to write this on my face. If you hit 900 likes, just hold the sign up. Like, you're an idiot. Where's your mom and dad? Don't you have any self-respect for yourself? Like, I don't know. Younger kids are so desperate for attention today because they didn't get it from their parents, and they didn't get it from God, that's for sure, because their parents kept them away from that. And, or because they were just too busy to acknowledge it. But there's so many weird things going on YouTube. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that. It's bad. It's you can, and YouTube used to allow you to algorithmically loop videos as long as it was as long as there was change within a time frame, you could loop your video. So, so many people would just, again, like that guy that's sleeping. There was a guy sleeping on YouTube Live. Sleeping on YouTube Live. And it's got like 700 people watching him. So I don't think anybody's here anymore because I asked for constructive criticism. Nobody responded. So I'm gonna cut out, guys. I appreciate you coming. Again, it was a test run. I was supposed to be doing the shop and work and doing a build, but I think it went okay. I don't know. All right, guys. Peace. How do you end the stream? Oh yeah, okay.